to the point that they represent the country in competition uh, abroad.
Yes, the skill level of talented athletes coming out of Antipolo in regard of baseball talents and skills are some of the best in the country. But the issues are, beyond the children's control.
Yeah, I think one of the problems in Antipolo is we do not have a permanent venue
Right.
for baseball or softball, and for the past I think almost a decade, we just play in a vacant lot owned by the Sumulongs who give permission to the city to conduct baseball tournaments there.
Right. That venue, it's a good start for early on development, but as far as when you start getting into the next skill levels, really that field is basically too small.
Yeah.
So the area as a whole basically needs a standardized field to accommodate and grow at the next level.
And also we're talking about the field because over the years it's been used by the city over and over again. The ground is actually starting to erode, and you mentioned that pretty soon the ground near the road itself will dissolve, and there's a possibility that the road may crack.
Yes, that'll end up, if it keeps digging and you always dig close to a roadway, and over time what's going to happen from the transportation and the heavy traffic, the road's going to crack. So then you're going to have a very, very big expenditure trying to repair the road just for commuters.
Hopefully we'll be able to do something about that because you already have a plan in place, and we just have to talk to the owners to be able to shore up that piece of land so that the so that the come the rainy seasons the waters won't erode away the soil. Um, wait, going back, let's go back a bit to you because I'd like the listeners to know more about you, David. Why do you love baseball so much? You said that you come from baseball capital of the United States, and I know you actually played the
Yeah,
sport. So can you tell us more? Can you tell our listeners more about yourself and how and why do you love baseball so much?
I basically love the sport so much because it was a lifelong meaningship between socialism, between so many different uh, mindsets within the sport itself, whether they be rich, poor, middle class, or anything. The opportunity was for everybody to be on the same field at the same time and share their different skills and their different talents and learn to work together as a whole, as a team, to be successful.
So ang sinasabi mo, David, parang natututo na yung mga kabataan na kung paano kumbaga makapag-interact sa isa't isa through baseball. They learn how to interact with each other, with the community, by playing an organized sport like baseball.
Yes, regardless if they're poor, rich, it doesn't matter. In order for them to be successful, they have to learn to work together as a group to be successful as a team.
So, uh, yun ang pagkakaiba ng baseball sa basketball. Kamukha lang sa basketball, that's the big difference between baseball and basketball. Because in basketball, there are like five people playing all at the same time. Sa baseball, ibang-iba. You have nine players, and one player, you have to interact with your whole team at the same time. So, it mas demanding in terms of social skills at saka yun sa awareness ng pangangailangan ng needs ng other players you compete with and you compete against.
Right. For example, if you have a pitcher, for example, that may be poor or less fortunate or whatever, but his skills and his talents are successful on the mound, then it will take his flexibility to be able to work together with his other fellow teammates to bring all of them together to be successful.
Yeah. And also, David, a lot of people in Antipolo, although they've been working with you for a few years, if you ask them, oh, what does exactly does David Flowers do? I don't know. I just see him playing with the kids. So, what is it? Can you give more detail on what you're actually doing in Antipolo?
Well, actually, that's where I live at. Since I live there, I said, well, why
You
not?
have a son. You have a
Yes, I
son
have a
there.
son. Even though he's 2 years old, he's already himself trying to learn the sport on his own without
Yeah,
my own guidance.
yeah. When I talked to you a few months ago, he was all over the field chasing balls
So,
and swinging around the stick like a bat.
yeah, that's where the love for companionship and working together. That's where it'll lead him regardless of where he comes from.
And so you want to create that baseball, a community of baseball, a place where baseball is played competitively, where the standards are high, not just for the Antipolo, but also so that your son will have a place to play the sport.
Well, for the sport itself, to me, winning is not everything. The sport will teach you that you have to win and you have to lose. But in order to win, you have to lose sometimes. And in order to lose, you have to figure out how are you going to lose. Are you going to be a proud loser or are you going to be a sore loser? So the sport can teach you those many different things early on. That's what brings the love of the sport out of the player themselves.
In Antipolo, we just had the baseball softball tournament. Nakatatapos lang ng baseball softball tournament sa Antipolo. And I would say that was very successful kasi ang sumali ay from 6 years old all the way to parents playing, dads playing softball. How would you assess that past tournament? What would you say are its highlights? What would you say are its lowlights?
I'd say on the highlight part compared to when I first started, it's grown, it's came a long way, but yet competitively compared to international standards, it still has a long ways to go. Uh, the low ends of it basically you had more adults because of the history participating in it, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just my thing is if you're going to have that amount of adults playing, then why not the same number of the children of those adults playing at their level also?
Yeah, I think the focus was for the dads playing softball instead of the kids playing baseball. So there were, yeah, that's true. About 2/3 of the teams
Right.
were adults. And while not that might not be ideal, siguro hindi naman ganun ka-ideal yung sitwasyon, but pinakita rin na the community embraces the sport
Right.
because there's a long history of baseball and softball in Antipolo.
Right. If you solely focus on adult softball, then what happens when the adult softball is no more because they, you know, either one they get too old where they can't play anymore and there's nobody coming behind them to carry on the history. So then where does that leave you in within the community and the sport?
Yeah, that's why kailangan din siguro yung meron kang mas comprehensive saka siguro gusto mo mas maraming
Yeah.
mga team sa kabataan sasali.
Yeah, so if you focus on ages 5, 6, 7 at T-ball level, and you basically allow them to participate on their own, their children, naturally they're going to want to play the sport if somebody is there on the adult side to basically just watch them and allow them to participate in it.
Yeah, I think that was one of the it was an eye opener for me that they have competitive tournaments for 5, 6 years old na where na nilalagay mo lang yung bola
Yeah.
sa stick and then pinapalo nila. So nagulat ako na meron palang competition na sa ganung level.
Yeah. When it comes to competition for children, it's very simple and easy to do. It just mainly takes the dedication on the adult side to stick with them. Children basically are just out there looking for guidance. And if on the adult side, if we sit back and we look at ourselves, what was we doing at that same age? Was there somebody there to guide us, or did we just go on our own?
And isa din sa mga gusto ko sanang, I think, room for improvement was siguro kung dun sa adult level ng softball teams, maybe the businesses could have sponsored the teams. Some of the teams are actually sponsored by one manager who sprung for the
Right, right,
uniforms,
right.
and then the players basically just fended from themselves. Paano kaya, David, na mga kumpanya sa Antipolo. Well, pinag-usapan natin Shopwise, Cemex. Paano kaya sila mahihikayat na sponsor ang mga teams dun na softball sa Antipolo?
Like for example, if you take children at the children level, and let's say for example, I have Shakey's or McDonald's or something like that, and I am a